Some days you look around the house and it feels like the dishes, laundry, and floors all teamed up against you, and all you want is 5 quiet minutes to breathe. For anyone who's a bit older, that feeling can be even stronger. The simple tasks start to feel like a lot of work, and by the end of the day, you're exhausted. I used to come home from work and dive straight into the sink, laundry, and floors, but by the time evening came, my back was aching, my legs were heavy, and the very next day, the house looked messy all over again. It took me a while to realize that it wasn't about being lazy or bad at cleaning. It was just that my body couldn't keep up with the old push-through and deal with it later method of cleaning anymore. In this video, I want to share 7 small, simple habits that make your home feel tidier without draining all your energy. These are things I started adding into my day, little moments when I had a few minutes to spare while waiting for the kettle to boil, between chores, or before bedtime. They've helped me get the house in order without spending hours doing a big clean all at once. These habits are especially helpful if you're juggling cooking, taking care of others, or just keeping up with everything that needs to get done, and you still want your home to feel cozy, peaceful, and easy to live in. The first habit, clean while sitting down, might sound strange compared to most cleaning advice, but it's the one that has saved my back and made housework feel a lot less overwhelming. Stay with me, and I'll show you how it works. First, I want to start with something that sounds a bit upside down. You can sit down and still get a lot of cleaning done. There are days when just imagining half an hour standing at the sink makes me want to grab instant noodles and hide in my room. My body already knows if you stand too long today, your back and legs will scream. The shift is very simple. Any housework you can do sitting down, let yourself do it, sitting down. Don't wait until everything is finished to earn a break. Build the break into the way you clean. In the kitchen, if there's even a tiny bit of space, park a chair by the sink. It can be any sturdy chair or stool. Instead of, "I'll sit when I'm done," switch to, "I'll sit while I do it." Pull the basin or rack closer, wash a few dishes, pause, straighten your back, breathe, then continue. Wiping counters can be the same. Sit on one side, keep spray and cloth close wipe in one direction. No twisting, no reaching everything in easy range. With laundry, don't leave the basket on the floor. Put a chair next to the machine and lift the basket onto it so it's at arm level. When you move clothes from washer to dryer or into a basket, sit, turn slightly, and move smaller handfuls. Folding can be done sitting on the bed or sofa. Pull the basket in front of you and aim for just a small pile at a time. When that pile is done, you're allowed to lean back and stop if you're tired. There is no rule that says you have to defeat the whole mountain in one go. You don't need anything fancy for this. Just a safe, stable chair, and if needed, a small non-slip mat under the legs. To feel the difference, picture a normal evening before and after. Before I'd come home, stand to cook, stand to do dishes, then bend and lift a heavy laundry basket. By bedtime, my legs felt like concrete, my back ached, and the clean clothes waiting to be folded were something I pretended not to see. Now I sit to prep dinner and wash dishes while the pot is simmering. The laundry basket lives on a chair next to the machine, and I move clothes with my hands, not my spine. Later, I sit on the bed lamp, unfolding a few things at a time while I talk to my kids or listen to something gentle. The result isn't a perfect magazine-ready house. The result is that my body doesn't punish me at the end of the day, and I don't dread housework the way I used to because it no longer means 2 hours standing without a break. The real change here isn't the chair, it's the permission you're allowed to clean in a way that's kind to your body instead of using pain as proof that you're hardworking. When your feet aren't screaming and your back isn't on fire. Starting feels lighter. In your head, it becomes, "I'll just sit in the kitchen and wash a few dishes," instead of, "I have to stand there and do everything." You don't owe anyone proof that you're strong or good at housework. Your body is for your whole life, not just for scrubbing and lifting. Protecting it is also taking care of your family. And once you're no longer forcing yourself to stand for everything, the next step is to look at all the deep bends and far reaches that are still hurting you. That's where we'll go next, learning how to extend your arms and let tools do more of the work. What I've shared in this first habit is really just the starting point, a way to stop paying with your body for housework. In the next video, we'll stay with that same spirit, but look at it from another angle that makes things feel even lighter. If anything you've heard so far feels like it fits you, come back tomorrow. That next episode will make the whole picture come together more clearly. From standing less, I moved on to bending and reaching less by extending my arms instead of throwing my poor back into everything. If every time you pick something up off the floor or wipe a low corner, your back, hips, or knees give you that sharp little warning, this part is for you. I used to be the classic just bend down and get it over with type. Wipe the baseboards, kneel, scrub the bathroom, sit on the floor, pick things up, bend, bend, bend. When you're younger, you sort of get away with it. But once every deep bend feels like it drains your battery a bit more, you realize it's not that you suddenly became weak. It's that you're trying to do the job of a mop handle. The main idea is simple: if a job lives too low or too high, let a longer arm do it, not your spine. First step is swapping the basics. If your mop broom or bathroom brush has a short handle, you're basically asking your back to hunch for the whole cleaning session. I switch to handles that come up close to my face when they stand upright. When I hold them, I can stand straight and still feel comfortable. In the bathroom, I use a brush with a real handle so I can stand in the doorway and still scrub the floor corners and walls without kneeling. If I'm mopping and catch myself curved over, I know either the handle is too short or my posture is off, and I fix it right away. Then, I DIY'd a little just for fun, but also because it works. I grabbed an old pair of kitchen tongs, wrapped a microfiber cloth around both ends, and tied it with small rubber bands. That became my pinch hand for awkward places: blinds, fan blades, shelf edges, baseboards. I can stand or sit on a chair, gently pinch, and pull along instead of crawling on the floor or climbing up on furniture. For little things that fall: paper, bits, socks, candy wrappers. If I'm too tired, I just grab them with the tongs instead of bending every single time. If you already have a grabber stick ball retriever, or even a long old wooden spoon that can become your reach stick, hang it somewhere easy near the living room. Every time you see a toy under the sofa, a scrap of paper under the table, a sock hiding behind a door, and you're already running on low battery, you don't bend anymore. You just hook slide or pull it towards you, then scoop everything up in one go. It sounds tiny, but cutting out a few dozen deep bends a day really does add up. Before this, a quick tidy of the living room for me was a whole workout, kneeling to wipe baseboards, bending over and over to pick up every little thing, then climbing onto a wobbly chair to wipe the fan. By the end, my knees hurt, my back was tight, and I'd tell myself, forget it, next time I'll just do a big clean all at once. And of course, the longer I left it, the worse it got. Now it's different. I keep a long-handled duster and my microfiber tongs hanging behind the door. If I'm standing there on my phone, I'll casually grab the tongs and walk one lap around the room along the baseboards. If I see bits on the floor when I'm already tired, I use the reach stick to pull them into one small area and sweep or vacuum that spot later instead of doing squats everywhere. The fan doesn't involve climbing anymore. I stand on the floor, lift the duster or tongs, pinch the blade, and pull the dust toward me. It's not perfect, but my body feels so much lighter afterwards. It might sound like just tools, but it really changes how you feel about the chores. In your head, clean the bathroom used to mean kneeling on cold tiles and scrubbing until you're wiped out, so of course your brain avoids it. Now sometimes clean the bathroom just means stand at the door spray and run the long-handled brush over things a few times. Suddenly your mind goes, okay, that I can manage. And especially when you're a woman juggling 100 things, these little tricks mean you can finish a round of cleaning without crawling back to your room. You finish and still have enough energy to sit down with a drink, say a few sentences to your kids instead of collapsing and hugging your lower back. Once you've let tools take over, the bending and reaching the next step is thinking about where you keep them. Because if your long-handled brush cloths and sprays are all buried in the back of a cupboard behind 10 other things, you and I both know that when you're tired, you'll just leave the mess. So in the next part, we'll talk about cleaning tools, where the mess lives, setting things up, so when you see a spill or a smudge, you can deal with it in 30 seconds without planning a whole cleaning session. After I'd sorted out the whole standing, bending, reaching issue, I started looking at one small thing that actually changes a lot, where my cleaning stuff lives in the house. And that's when I realized a lot of the time I wasn't lazy. My setup was just working against me. Most of us keep all our cleaning supplies in one official place, a corner of the laundry room, a cupboard, a big basket with everything thrown in. It looks tidy on the surface, but in real life, it means every time you see a small stain, you have to walk through rooms open, a cupboard, dig around. When you're already worn out, that alone is enough to make you go, "Never mind, I'll do it later." A few later moments stack up, and by the weekend, you've got yourself a full deep cleaning day you're dreading. So I changed the rule: wherever the mess tends to show up, that's where the cleaning tools should live. First, I made a few tiny cleaning corners in the spots that get dirty the most, around the bathroom sink, the kitchen sink, and countertop the dining table, the coffee table or sofa area. Right under each sink or next to each table, I keep a very small set 1 spray bottle, multi-purpose cleaner or diluted dish soap, 1 microfiber cloth, and some old cup tray or container to hold them. Thanks to that, when I see toothpaste splattered on the mirror, I just finish brushing open the cupboard spray, wipe once, and I'm done. When there's dipping sauce splashed under the edge of the table, I pull open the nearest drawer, grab the cloth, and wipe it in 5 seconds. When I spot a splash on the stovetop, my hand goes straight down to where the spray and cloth are stored. No walking off to another room, no putting it on a later list. On top of those little corners, I added one more helper, a light basket for the evenings. Before bed, I grab the basket and walk 1 loop living room dining area hallway. Anything that's obviously in the wrong place, but doesn't need action right now, toys, books, jackets, water bottles, goes into the basket. When I'm done, I sit down and sort it: 1 small pile to go up to the bedroom, 1 pile to leave by the kids' room door, 1 pile to take back to the kitchen tomorrow. 1 loop, and it's contained instead of 10 trips back and forth carrying 1 thing at a time. It sounds tiny, but it really changes how cleaning feels. When you're already tired, just the thought of walking far to get a spray bottle is enough to make you skip it. That's not you being lazy, that's your brain trying to protect your body. When the cleaning things are right where you need them, cleaning becomes a few small movements woven into your day. You're already there, so you just do it with your free hand. No official cleaning session needed. Your home won't suddenly look like a magazine, but you'll notice this: fewer old stains, fewer stubborn marks you have to scrub, fewer days where you have to catch up with a massive clean, and less of that guilty feeling that you've let the house go too long. And you don't need to buy a ton of new products to do this. Just pour 1 big bottle of cleaner into a few small bottles, reuse old cloths as cleaning rags, and put them in whatever spare containers you have. The goal isn't pretty. The goal is easy to reach. Once see a mess, deal with it right away feels lighter. The next step is to let the products themselves do the heavy work. In the next part, we'll talk about spray and walk away and using liners so you don't have to scrub so hard. So each cleaning session feels lighter on your body, not like a punishment. This is one habit I really wish I'd learned earlier. For the longest time, I believed if you want it clean, you've got to scrub hard yourself, always throwing my own energy at every stain. But a lot of cleaners are literally made to do the hardest part for us, as long as we give them time. The new mindset is simple. Your job isn't to attack every stain right away. Your job is to spray, let it sit, then come back when the product has already done half the work. In the bathroom, instead of spraying a bit and then bending over to scrub until I'm dizzy, I split it into 2 light steps. In the evening before a shower or before bed, I spray cleaner on the shower tiles, around the toilet, and around the sink. If I still have energy, I run a long-handled brush over it once or twice. If I don't, I just leave it. The next morning, during or after my shower, I rinse those spots and give them a very light scrub with the long-handled brush or a sponge. The grime has already softened overnight, so I barely have to use any strength. No more kneeling on cold tiles, scrubbing each grout line until my arms ache. In the kitchen, I've also switched to spray and walk away. After dinner, while the stovetop is still slightly warm, I spray degreaser or kitchen cleaner over the surface around the burners and inside the oven if needed. Then I go clear the table, wash a few dishes, play with the kids, or sit on the sofa for a bit. When I come back, a damp cloth and a few passes are usually enough for the grease to wipe right off. On nights when I'm completely done, I just spray and go to bed. In the morning, I do 1 round with a cloth and it still looks much better, than if I'd left it untouched because I didn't have the strength to scrub. At the same time, I've started lining things so I don't have to scrub them later, especially in places that are always getting dirty. Fridge shelves, I line them with old tablecloths, cheap fridge liners, or cut-up plastic mats. Spills soup juice, all land on the liner. When it's gross, I just lift it out and wash or replace it instead of scrubbing sticky spots off the bare shelf. Oven floor, I use an oven liner or a thick layer of foil. Melted cheese, overflowing sauces, crumbs, they all hit the liner. When it's time to clean, I deal with the liner not baked on rock at the bottom of the oven. Microwave, I keep a cover, a silicone lid, or even just a bowl to flip over food when heating. It saves me from that 1 minute to reheat 15 minutes to clean situation. None of this turns my home into a showroom, but it cuts down a lot of those stubborn stains that usually demand full-body effort, the kind of jobs that leave you wiped out afterwards. If a little voice in your head is saying using chemicals and liners like that, am I just being lazy? I get it. Many of us grew up with the idea that a clean home means sweat and elbow grease, but try looking at it a bit more gently. All day you've been working, cooking, caring for kids, juggling a dozen things. You already made the effort to spray ahead to line things before they get filthy to spend a few minutes setting it up. The heavy part after that, let the product do its job. You're not cheating anyone. You're just not forcing your body to carry what it doesn't have to. Since I started doing this, my feelings about cleaning have changed a lot. Before, hearing clean the bathroom or scrub the oven made my brain want to run away because it remembered kneeling scrubbing until I felt faint, breathing in harsh smells. Now clean the bathroom often just means spray tonight, swipe with a brush tomorrow. Clean the oven means line it ahead of time and occasionally wash the liner. When it sounds lighter, your brain resists less, your body dreads it less. And it's so much easier to get started and to still have some energy left for the rest of your day. Letting the cleaners and liners take on the heavy work frees up a little bit of energy for the things that actually matter: playing with your kids, talking to your partner, getting into bed 15-20 minutes earlier. In the long run, those are what keep you well, not a floor that's shiny enough to see your reflection. And once your hands and body feel lighter, the next step is to lighten up how you use your time too, with 15 minutes and one calm corner, which is what we'll get into next. After my body wasn't working quite so hard, I had to face another problem: that constant feeling of always losing to the house. The mess always seemed to win, and I never magically had half a day free to really clean properly. Just thinking about cleaning the whole house was enough to make my brain shut down. So I stopped asking myself to clean the house and started asking for something smaller: 15 minutes. One small specific spot. That's it. Here's how I do it. I set a 15-minute timer on my phone or a kitchen timer. I pick one area only: the sink, the stovetop around the dining table, the sofa, the entryway, or even just my desk or bedside table. I clean until the timer rings. Then I stop even if it's not perfect. The rest is for another day. To make it more real, there are evenings when I look at the kitchen and just want to walk past. Sink full of dishes, pots still on the stove, towels hanging everywhere. Instead of sighing, "This is going to be another full hour," I set 15 minutes and tell myself just the sink and the stovetop. That's all. In those 15 minutes, I rinse the worst dishes, toss any smelly leftovers and wet trash, and give the stovetop a quick wipe, so it's not sticky. When the timer goes off, I stop. The next morning, walking into a kitchen where the sink isn't overflowing and the stove isn't greasy, the day already feels lighter. And the night before, I only spent 15 minutes on it. Along with the 15 minutes, I also choose one calm corner for my eyes. That's one surface where if it's clear, the whole house feels less chaotic, maybe the dining table, the coffee table, the TV console, or simply the bedside table. Every day, no matter how busy I am, I try to reset that one spot, clear off the random stuff, do a quick wipe, and put back one or two things I love. Just having that one calm corner right where my eyes pass by all the time stops my brain from saying this whole house is a disaster and shifts it to it's not perfect, but it's not abandoned. For women juggling work, kids, and family, the phrase "clean the house" can feel impossible. Your brain says you need at least half a day to do it properly. So you don't start, the house gets messier, you get more tired, and the self-blame piles on. When you shrink it down to just 15 minutes and one small area, you're telling yourself, I don't have to fix everything today. Touching the house a little bit every day is enough. There's one important part: when the timer is almost done and things are finally starting to look better, you'll be very tempted to think, just 5-10 more minutes and I can finish this. But those extra 5-10 minutes often turn into 30-40, and then you're wiped out again and dread cleaning the next day. So I practice doing the opposite. When the timer rings, I stop. I stop while I still have a bit of energy left so my brain can record, oh, cleaning doesn't always equal total exhaustion. Once you get used to 15 minutes and one calm corner housework becomes much less scary. But I know there will still be days when even 15 minutes feels impossible, and you just want to lie down. On those days, I don't force myself to stick to this rule. I switch to something even lighter, a cleaning menu for exhausted days. Just a few tiny tasks to keep the house from falling apart while you don't feel like you've given up. That's what we'll walk through next. There will be days when even 15 minutes feels like too much. You come home from work, drop your bag, throw together something simple for everyone to eat, and every part of your body is saying, that's it, I'm done for today. On days like that, if you force yourself to do a full cleaning round to be responsible, you usually just end up more annoyed, more exhausted, and a little bit more fed up with housework. For those low battery days, I don't use the 15-minute rule. I switch to a completely different mode, much smaller, a cleaning menu for exhausted days. Just a few minimum tasks to keep the house from falling apart and to stop you from waking up crushed by guilt the next morning. My menu only has 3 gentle non-negotiables. The first is dealing with today's dishes or food containers. Not all, not perfectly, just enough so food doesn't sit and rot overnight. Depending on your energy, that might mean tipping leftovers out of containers and rinsing them, loading the dishwasher and hitting start, or at the very least, gathering today's dishes into the sink and giving them a quick rinse so tomorrow they don't look horrifying. The second is taking out wet or smelly trash. The goal is simply tomorrow morning you don't open the door and get hit by a wall of smell. Things that should leave the house that night include food, scraps, bones, fruit peels, wet trash bags, spoiled soup, out-of-date food, dirty diapers, used wet wipes. Just tying up the bag and taking it outside, or at least to the door, already makes tomorrow a lot kinder. The third is wiping up any spills or slippery spots. This one is about safety, not prettiness. If there's a puddle on the kitchen floor, spilled milk oil splashes, or lots of water outside the shower, just grab a cloth and wipe until it's not slippery anymore. It doesn't need to be spotless. It just needs to be safe, so no one slips in the middle of the night. All 3 together usually take no more than 10-15 minutes. And if you're absolutely spent, you can even pick 2 out of 3. The important thing is the house doesn't reek, the sink isn't so horrific that tomorrow you'll want to give up as soon as you see it, and the floor isn't a hazard. The rest, the unvacuumed floors, toys still out, unfolded laundry, you are allowed to leave for another day. Not because you don't care, but because today your body needs to come first. What matters most here is how you talk to yourself on these days. Instead of, I'm useless, I didn't get anything done. Try shifting to, today I only had enough energy to keep the house from smelling and being unsafe. That's enough for today. Tomorrow, when you have a bit more energy, you can go back to 15 minutes and one calm corner. These 2 modes, normal days and exhausted days, are not good versus bad. They're just 2 different ways of running your home for 2 different levels of energy. And when you start treating yourself more gently like this, a new question naturally shows up. If my energy is this limited, is there a way to have less to clean in the first place? That's when I started thinking about reducing what needs to be cleaned at all and bringing in helpers, from appliances to the people living with me. That's the next part of this journey. If your daily energy feels like it's stuck around 30%, then no matter how good your cleaning tricks are, you'll still feel overwhelmed if there's simply too much stuff, too many things on the counters, too many clothes, too many just-in-case items. At that point, the question isn't, how do I clean faster anymore? It's, out of everything I'm wiping and putting away every day, is there anything that doesn't actually need to be here? I realized something very simple, but very true. Fewer things on a surface. fewer things to lift dust and put back. Fewer clothes, fewer loads to wash, hang, fold, and put away. Fewer just-in-case items, less clutter for your eyes, and less noise for your brain. So now, before I grab a cloth, I often ask myself, if I didn't own this, would my life be harder or easier? And many times, even if I kind of like the item, the honest answer is easier. Instead of waiting for one big decluttering day, I do tiny edits while I'm already cleaning. On the kitchen counter, I remove jars, cups, and decor that don't get used, but collect grease and dust so the surface is clearer and I can wipe it in one simple swipe. Around the bathroom sink, I keep only the products I actually use and put away or let go of the bottles I haven't touched in ages. In the wardrobe, I don't force myself into a perfect minimalist closet. I just gently let go of pieces I never reach for anymore. Each item that leaves is one less thing to wash dry and fold for no reason. At the same time, I allow myself to have helpers, both appliances and people. For appliances, if the budget allows, I see them as extra hands, a robot vacuum that runs daily or every other day to keep the basic level of clean higher. A light cordless vacuum so I can do a quick loop around the table or sofa after meals. An electric scrubber in the bathroom so my hands guide instead of scrubbing with full force. They won't turn your home into a showroom, but they make every manual cleaning session shorter and lighter. More important than gadgets, though, are the people you live with. For years, I had this unspoken rule in my head: housework is my job. If others help, great. If they don't, fine. It sounds kind and understanding, but it quietly makes you the one who carries the whole house. So I started sharing very small, very everyday tasks. The kids put their toys into one big bin before bed, not sorted, just all toys in the bin. Everyone brings their own cup or bowl to the sink after eating. My partner takes on 1-2 fixed jobs like taking the trash out at night, wiping the stovetop after dinner, or starting the dishwasher. The way I ask is simple and honest: I'm really tired today. Can you take care of the trash and the stovetop for me? From now on, can we all bring our dishes to the sink after eating? It would help me a lot. You're not asking because you're weak. You're asking because this is our home, not your personal workplace. When you cut down the number of things you have to look after, bring in a helper or two, and let the people you live with carry part of the load, everything softens. There is genuinely less to clean. You're no longer the only one responsible. And every time you do tidy up, the results last longer and feel more worth your energy. And from that point, it becomes easier to see the whole journey clearly. It was never that you were lazy or bad at this. You've just been learning how to care for your home in a way that actually fits your body and your real life. In the final part, I'll pull together the key ideas and suggest 1 or 2 small steps you can start with today. So those are the 7 small habits I use to keep my home a bit more manageable each week. In a way, my body can handle not the push through, then collapse, kind of clean. You don't have to do them all, just pick one thing that feels doable and try it for the next few days. On the days you feel short on time and your head is buzzing with housework, start as gently as you can, sit down while you clean, set a 15-minute timer, or reset one calm corner. Your eyes land on a lot. Even one small step like that can make today feel lighter than yesterday. If you'd like to go deeper into owning less, so there's less to clean, I have a separate video on decluttering each area of the home from the kitchen to the bathroom that you can watch right after this to keep the momentum going. And whenever you feel that even one idea from this video made your mind a little less heavy, you can hit like, share, or subscribe to let me know this kind of content really helps you, because you deserve a home that feels easier to live in one day at a time. I'm going to keep building this kind of series, and the next video will take everything you've heard today one step further. Still about home and daily life, but from a side that so many women struggle with and rarely hear unpacked properly. If you'd like to keep walking this road together, to have a home that's calmer and a mind that's lighter, you can tap the bell or simply remember to drop by the channel tomorrow so you don't miss this next very important piece.